Happy Godzilla Day, everybody. This is Matt with State of Flex here with another one of my Godzilla reviews. Right now I'm doing Godzilla and Mothra, The Battle for Earth. This is one that I hadn't seen before, and I was super pumped to see it because I'm a big fan of Mothra. As much as I love Godzilla, Mothra is my favorite sort of side buddy of his. And I was really excited to see the sort of Versus era, or Heisei era's interpretation of Mothra, or reinterpretation. So, I was really pumped to see this one, and I was a little disheartened to see that the quality of film was a little cheapened, specifically with the editing. This movie kind of almost feels like a made-for-TV movie with specific act breaks that are designed for commercials. I recognize that that's not the actual case, but it just feels cheaper than the previous two movies. However, my understanding is that this movie was such a big success that they had a little more money to work with for some of the remaining Heisei movies. But this one definitely doesn't have the visceral quality of those first two Heisei films. That said, I did like what they did with Mothra. I liked the inclusion of a new character. I knew nothing of this movie going into it. So when Batra showed up, I loved the look of Batra, and I liked how Batra kind of teamed up with Mothra to some extent to take on Godzilla. Godzilla is much more of a threat in this than I was expecting him to be to the people of Japan. And I like the redo of Mothra. She looks really nice, and I like the sort of fuzzy quality and stuff like that. And they were much better at hiding the wires for both Mothra and Batra throughout the film than they were in the earlier pictures. That's not something that necessarily bothers me. I'm a fan of Star Trek, so cheap special effects are kind of my thing. But they got much better at sort of masking that. And I liked the approach, at least in the beginning of the film, of you could see the Western influence kind of bleeding into the picture with the riff on Indiana Jones. That was pretty fun. But this movie sort of rings hollow in comparison to the three previous films that came before it, the reboot of Godzilla onwards. This one kind of lacks the soul or energy of the three previous efforts. It's not bad by any means, but you can see that they were kind of... My understanding is, because the Heisei movies are largely new to me, I'd seen the first two and nothing beyond that. My understanding is that with the first one it was successful, the second one they poured a ton of money into and it was a lot less successful, so the third time around they decided to dip back in the well and give us Ghidorah the three-headed monster, something that like fans would really grasp onto, and then they did the same thing for this film. But you've kind of got diminishing returns from Biollante onwards. Biollante is great, but King Ghidorah, well, good, is nowhere near in the same league, and this is lesser than even that film. Again, stressing, not a bad movie, it's a good movie. But they feel like they were trying to find their footing, and it sounds like this was the big success, bigger than two previous ones, that would kind of give them the stability to kind of stick the landing with a couple of these last three features. There's only three more in the Heisei era. However, Mothra would move on from this movie into three of her own, which I plan on tackling after Godzilla vs. Destroya, because I believe they were released theatrically afterwards. But this is a good movie, and it did excite me to see the continued story with the Mothra films. I've never seen any of the Rebirth of Mothras. I bought them blind just because I like the characters, so I'm excited to explore them, and I actually kind of hope that they continue on the trajectory of the Batra story that's kind of teased at the end of this film. I don't know if they will, but I really hope they do, because it was an awesome tease for something that happens in like 1999. I'm curious to see if they stick that landing or if it's just lost in the mists of the Heisei era's non-existent story trajectory. Anyway, I like this movie. I give it 3 stars, but I was kind of hoping for a little more. Hopefully I get more with those Mothra movies, and with the next film, which I've heard mixed to mostly good things about, which is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, coming at you next week. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, let me know what you thought of this movie. The big highlight for me was Batra looked fantastic, and the redesign of Mothra was like kind of breathtakingly beautiful, and I liked her birthing scene. But anyway, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.